Welcome to Pictureline. Today we're going to tackle the subject, is it pronounced ISO or ISO?
Hey, the new Canon lenses that arrived.
We had the opportunity to test out some of the highly anticipated Canon lenses, including the RFS 10-18, the RF 200-800, and of course the RF 24-105 F2.8. Believe me, the hype is real. Canon was gracious enough to let us use these lenses. It's only for a few hours, but we got some really good hands-on experience with them, and we're gonna share that with you in just a sec. But first, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive lens first looks, as well as all things photo and video. All right, let's get to it. Bear in mind that the 200-800 and the 24-105 are both pre-production models, so the actual performance and quality may be different at launch. So first off was the RFS 10-18. This lens is an approximate 16 to 29 millimeter full frame equivalent field of view. It would make a great companion to any of the RFS kit lenses like the 18-45 or the 18-150 because it provides that really interesting field of view. This thing was tiny. Using it on the R7, it almost felt like the camera was too big for the lens, but I was extremely impressed just with the shots we were getting out of it. We weren't allowed to shoot RAWs on any of these lenses, but those JPEGs turned out excellent. It handled that field of view very, very well. There wasn't any major distortion that I was noticing. And of course, you get that classic Canon look, those Canon colors, and solid sharpness kind of all the way around. Definitely see this being a lens very popular with people who like to hike, who want those smaller crop sensor cameras, but still want to get really excellent, wide vistas and shots in tight spaces. And it's gonna really perform well in that role. Now, time was of the essence, and we wanted to make sure we had a good opportunity with the other lenses, so we had to move on. So next was the RF 200-800 F6.3-9. So we headed to Salt Lake's Liberty Park to catch some birds using the R5. Luckily, they were pretty easy to find. See, found one. So to give you an idea of what 200-800 looks like, we did a little uncut video zoom, as you can see here. It is a massive, massive range. Now, this thing was colossal. Like, watch where you're swinging that thing, colossal. Now, what's crazy is even though I had just used the 10-18 lens, which was this tiny, very lightweight lens, the 200-800 really didn't seem that bad. I was really expecting it to be much heavier. Now, I probably wouldn't want to carry it around all day without a strap or a tripod or anything like that. But even for just like the 30-45 minutes that I was there, I was having no problem holding it. Even if I had to, I could probably hold it with one hand. Autofocus seemed fast and accurate. I actually managed to get a few birds in flight and even managed to get a squirrel that was making some noise above me in the tree. Now, despite not being considered an L series lens, this still has a lot of the features you might expect in L series glass. It is fully weather sealed, you've got custom function buttons, and optically it looks great. Fine details are nice and sharp. I didn't see very much in the way of chromatic aberration. Every photo that I've pulled from there is clean and natural looking, and it's just that gorgeous Canon look that you want. I should mention too, it does have built-in stabilization, which is gonna be really handy, especially at that 800 millimeter mark. I found it to be implemented very, very well. Even, again, handheld. I wasn't finding it too hard to keep the shot steady enough to take a photo. It also has a little kind of zoom dampener, so if you want a little more resistance, a little less resistance on your zoom ring, you can customize that. I think this lens is going to be a hit with wildlife photographers, sports photographers, anyone who needs that kind of insane reach. And with it starting under $2,000, that is so much bang for your buck. And last, we headed back to the studio for the 24-105 F2.8. And this is the lens I was so excited to try. And let me tell you, it definitely delivered. Now, this lens is so new, it didn't even have the firmware to even be used in video. So unfortunately, we couldn't get any video shots with it. But even just using it for photos, I could see this being the kind of lens that you put on your camera and never taking off. It is the one lens to rule them all. So to see what I mean with this though, let me just show you two photos. Each was taken from the exact same spot of the same subject who hadn't moved. This is literally taken seconds apart. So as you can see, 24mm, you're getting this excellent wide shot. Distortion seems very well controlled. The bokeh looks great. Like we are shooting, of course, at 2.8, and you can see even just, you know, a little ways behind him, it was already starting to kind of blur out. And then from that exact same spot, zoom in, you get this perfect headshot. I can't rave enough about the bokeh. I don't know what magic sauce they're doing in there to make it look so good, but I am really loving it. I do know that the aperture has 11 blades, so that is gonna help as you stop down to maintain that nice, beautiful circular bokeh. But at wide open, I was just blown away at how kind of delicious and dreamy that background looked. In addition to having one of the most useful focal ranges and a constant aperture, it also is not running short on other bells and whistles. So like all these Canon, you know, L series RF lenses, you have a zoom ring, you have a focus ring, and you have a control ring. However, on this, you also have a declicked aperture ring designed to be used in video. So you can get those nice, smooth exposure changes just using the aperture. Coming in spring, Canon's gonna be releasing a zoom adapter to put onto the side of this camera so you can have nice, clean zooming movements. And on top of that, it has 3 different modes of image stabilization. Now, truly, this lens was everything I wanted it to be. It has, again, that classic Canon look. Details were nice and sharp, but natural looking. You know, having used it all at these different focal lengths, it was just like, yep, this is a portrait lens, this is a landscape lens. This is, for me especially, like every kind of photography that I like to do could be done with this lens. With it being as light as it is, because you'd think it'd be extremely heavy, but it's surprisingly manageable. And even though it's only quote unquote 2.8, I still feel like it could compete with prime lenses pretty well. Like, quite honestly, this is the kind of lens that I feel like makes people want to switch systems. What do you guys think? Are you a Canon user? Are you excited for these lenses? Are you somebody who shoots different cameras and you want to give your left kidney so you can have the 24-105 in your own lens mount? Whatever it is, comment below. We'd love to hear about it. Huge, huge thanks to Canon for letting us use these lenses, especially the 24-105. It was literally one of 3 in North America right now as of the shooting of this video. And of course, if you want to purchase or pre-order any of these lenses, you can do so in the link in the description at pictureline.com. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to take your camera out today. See you next time.